It is that time for my response to a tweet. And today's tweet says, based on who you support, I don't think you have a clue of what this country needs. Hashtag Trump 2016. Based on who you support, I don't think you have a clue of what this country needs. Hashtag Trump 2016. Wow. Hey, that's how you end the year. That's how we started out. But here's my response to this tweet. First, I'm not going to make this about Donald Trump. Even though in my response to this tweet is going to have to be to a degree. Let's look at it. Here's how I'm going to respond to this. For you to think I have no clue of what this country needs because I'm not supporting Trump is very interesting. It's borderline disturbing. But, yet I digress. Imagine this. Imagine you're playing a football game. You're playing professional football. And you have this guy, he's running around, flying around the field. I mean, he's all gung-ho, he's loud, he's aggressive. And he goes to tackle a player, and he goes low on purpose. His whole total mindset is to win the game. That's all I care about is winning, scoring, doing what it takes to win. And he goes low, and he blows out the guy's knees, breaks his leg, blows it out. And he jumps up like he did something because the crowd said, ooh. And they were clapping because he stopped the play. He made the guy fumble, and another person picked up the fumble and ran it back, and they scored. But this guy is laying on the field with his legs broken and knees blowed out because of this hit. And then, naturally, all football players from both sides of the team, because they know that this could happen to them and this can end their career, they all come to the guy's side. Some of them might take a stance in prayer and things like this, and then because they feel for him, because they know that this can be the end of his livelihood. But the guy who made the tackle and won the game for his team, you come to him expecting a little bit of remorse or something like this, a little concern for the guy. And he says, man, forget that dude, man. This is a man's game. This ain't no game for sissies. Ain't no game for punks. And he's just going off. And he's just no regard for the livelihood that his hit might have taken away because all he wanted to do was win. Now, this is what's happening, unfortunately, with some Trump supporters, especially this one here. You're taking the mindset of you don't care what's being done as long as you win. And now I'm about to articulate to you what is it really that we need to understand about this presidential election. Is that after it's over, we are still going to have a country of individuals and people and families and young people that need to be inspired. They need inspiration. They need motivation. Now, me personally, I think this inspiration and motivation and things that we truly need is what needs to come to the White House from the highest office in the land, especially since this contest is becoming so negative. I'm going to talk about Ben Carson because what my tweet is alluding to is who I support. I support Ben Carson, and here's why. Because what I'm looking at that America needs more than anything, and this has to survive after this contest, is inspiration. Our protection is going to be greatened and heightened by inspiration more than any kind of articulation. It's not who can scream the loudest that makes us the best. It's not who can say I'm going to bomb the out of people and who can cuss or curse or whatever at a campaign rally that's going to deter our enemies or protect us in our homeland. It's going to be inspiration. And what's happening now is in the guises of winning, you're willing to make collateral damage of inspiration. This gentleman, Ben Carson, when it comes to the educational system, let's just break this thing down. When it comes to the educational system, our kids are failing. Our kids don't have no desire to want to educate themselves. They feel entitled and all these things. And then you have a candidate running for president that were one of these failing kids. And he was inspired to not be a failure in school, and he turns into a lifesaver. We're going to need this because the same educational system is going to be here after this election is over. But we're willing to wreck this guy's life when he can inspire way more people and fix our educational system and inspire our children to want to be readers and want to be kids that learn and that can grow up to do magnificent things. This is this guy's testimony, and we're willing to wreck that because somebody can cuss. We're willing to blow out his knees and his livelihood when he can inspire a whole nation in our educational system. He's a success. When it comes to our young people dying in these streets, being lost to gang violence, black on black violence, or whatever, it doesn't matter even the color. This candidate, Ben Carson, was a byproduct of these same streets. So after this 2016 election is over, and everybody's willing to wreck this guy's life because it's the competition and all they care about is winning, America loses again. Because this man can honestly be an inspirational tool to straighten up our young people or give them a chance of being a good-hearted American that can save lives versus a bunch of Americans that take lives. And we're willing to make that collateral damage of somebody who can scream the loudest or sound the toughest, with the possibility of no clue of doing anything that they're saying. But this guy, Ben Carson, can do everything that he's saying. And we're willing to trade that inspiration to win. That's all you care about is winning. Your point of view. And you're willing to make that collateral damage. What about parents? Do you know how it feels when a parent is sitting there looking at their child, don't have a clue what to do, and their child is failing in their education? They're out there involved in gangs or God knows what's going on the street, and this parent is looking for something to inspire them so that they can save their children? And then you have a person like Ben Carson whose mother was in that same situation and said, "Not my son," and knuckled down and changed the whole dynamic of his life. To where now he is saving lives versus ending up another statistic in the streets. And we're willing to trade that for some short-term politics because somebody can sound the loudest and say some cool things that caters to your feeling, and you're willing to destroy this man's integrity and character when he has all this potential to inspire from the presidency and beyond 2016. Do you know that this young man was a failing student, almost could potentially be in the streets of Detroit, like the kids in the streets of Detroit now, and he turned into one of the most patriotic young men in his city through the ROTC program? What do you think is going to protect the nation the most? Somebody who can say a bunch of things they might not be able to do, or somebody that can inspire our young people to be patriotic and be soldiers? Not necessarily military soldiers, but at least a level of patriotism that has them go on to do things to save lives versus take lives. If we agree that we have a sense of entitlement with our young people, why is that? Because we have a presidential candidate that feels entitled. That can't be good for America. He feels entitled. He feels entitled to everything. If they don't treat me nice, if they don't do this, that's the same thing that we're sitting here pulling our hair out about our children. And we're going to inspire these children to what? Feel entitled from the highest office of the land? When you have a person like Ben Carson, that this same entitled dude will assassinate just so he can win? If you're looking at our country and seeing what we need a Ben Carson. And the Ted Cruz's and the Marco Rubios that have inspirational stories like that. Not somebody who's going to run up and down this presidential field, blow people's kneecaps out, sit there and go, yeah, as long as I win. If you're looking for somebody to protect your automobile from hail damage and high insurance costs because of the weather, then Donald Trump is your man. Because nobody can build garages and car protectors like a Donald Trump can. But the last time I checked, that's not what America needs. We need somebody like Ben Carson that can take 20 and 30 people to go in and coordinate them to save a life. Because Washington needs to be saved with that kind of coordination. I'm Phil Williams, and that's my response to a tweet on The Phil Williams Show.